History remembers kings, but it forgets the women who defied them, and sometimes destroyed them. These are not stories of princesses waiting to be rescued. These are the stories of power, betrayal, and ruthless ambition. 5 women, 1 question. How far would you go to take the throne? Let's rewind. They called her the she-wolf of France, and she earned every fang. In 1326, Isabella turned against her husband, King Edward II, after years of public humiliation. He ignored her, spent lavishly on his male favourite. Isabella fled to France, raised an army, and returned not as a queen, but as a conqueror. She deposed the king, imprisoned him, and not long after he was murdered in captivity, some say on her orders. Isabella ruled England through her son until she was eventually forced aside. But by then the message was clear: no man, not even a king, could humiliate her and survive. Beautiful, brilliant, and deadly, Eleanor of Aquitaine married 2 kings and defied them both. She was Queen of France, then Queen of England. She joined the Crusades, plotted rebellions, and even supported her sons in war against their own father, Henry II. When she was imprisoned for treason, she waited patiently and outlived Henry. She returned to power as regent for her son Richard the Lionheart, wielding authority like a blade. Eleanor didn't just survive medieval politics, she mastered it. England's civil war, the War of the Roses, wasn't fought by kings alone. Margaret of Anjou led armies, orchestrated executions, and ruled in her husband Henry VI's place when his mind broke. She was hated by many for her French blood and political control, but she didn't care. Margaret crushed enemies, exiled nobles, and ensured her son's place in the line of succession, no matter the cost. Even after her forces were defeated, Margaret's legacy remained, a woman who fought like a lion for her cub. Anne Boleyn wasn't born to rule, but she made kings change the laws of God to have her. When Henry VIII fell in love with her, England broke from the Catholic Church to annul his marriage. Anne became queen, then the mother of Elizabeth I, but she played politics too well. She had enemies, and in 1536 they struck. Anne was arrested on charges of adultery and incest, likely false, and executed by sword. Her body fell, but her daughter would rise to become one of the greatest monarchs in history. Anne lost her head, but she changed the face of England forever. You know her name from Shakespeare, but the real Lady Macbeth was no fictional monster. Grouch was a royal in her own right, descended from Scottish kings. When she married Macbeth, the two became a power couple like no other. It's believed she had a role in Macbeth's rise and the murder of King Duncan. Unlike the play, they ruled for 17 years, prosperously, but history and Shakespeare rewrote her as a symbol of bloodthirsty ambition. Maybe that's because she played the game too well. These women weren't evil, they were strategic, intelligent, and dangerous in a world that gave them no room for error. History tried to silence them, but you just heard their stories. Which one shocked you most? Subscribe for more dark stories from history's forgotten women, because power isn't always pretty.